Hey guys, welcome to my channel today. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, I'll be teaching you how to go about drafting the upper bodies of this dress that you can see on your screen. So I have my pattern paper and I've gone ahead to mark out my points. The first point is the distance from my shoulder to my bust point, which is 10 inches. The next point is the distance from my shoulder to my under bust point, which is 13 inches. The last point is the distance from my shoulder to my waist in front, which is 17 inches. From that 17 inches, I have extra 4 inches, which is going to be for the basque waistline. So the next thing I'll do is to take half of my shoulder measurement. Half of my shoulder measurement is 8 inches. So from the center front, I came in by 8 inches. I indicated the 8 inches with a dot. On that dot, I went down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. I also indicated the 1 inch with a dot. The next thing I'll do is to take my neck width, which is going to be 3.5 inches. I also indicated 3.5 inches with a dot. What I'll do now is to slant from the 1 inch shoulder slope, to the 3.5 inches neck width like this. Next thing I'll do is to go down by my armhole depth, which is 7 inches. So from the shoulder slope, I went down by 7 inches. On that dot, I made sure that I have the same measurement that I have on the shoulder line, which is 8 inches. And then I connected into a straight line like this. After doing that, I'm going to rule a straight line across. So this is going to be the chest line. The next thing I'll do is to take half of my nipple to nipple measurement minus 1 inch on the waistline. So if you check the dress, the dart leg is not straight. So on the base, I took out 1 inch from half of my nipple to nipple measurement, and on the bust line, I took 4 inches, which is half of my nipple to nipple measurement. So I decided to connect. So this line is not straight. The next thing I'll do is to take half an inch on the center front, on all the lines. I'll stop on the under bust line, and on the side I'll take 1 inch on the waistline, on the under bust line. So go ahead and label your pattern paper so you don't get confused. So I'm going to connect like this. The next thing I'll do is to go down from the bust line by 1 inch. I'll indicate the 1 inch with a dot. After doing that, I'll use the curved part of my roller to connect from the 1 inch to meet the under bust line like this. So the next thing I'll do is to mark the middle of this straight line on the armhole area. The middle is 3.5 inches. I indicated the 3.5 inches with a dot. On that dot, I came in by half an inch. I also indicated the half an inch with a dot. On the chest line, I placed my bust circumference divided by 4, and I indicated that with a dot. What I'll do is to slant from the shoulder slope to the half an inch, and from the half an inch to the dots that I have on the chest line. So after doing that, I'm going to use the curved part of my ruler to connect from the bust point to meet the center of that straight line like this. So make sure it's not too curvy. So the next thing I'll do is to take half an inch on both sides of this line. So this is because I don't want the armhole area to gape. So I'm taking half an inch on both sides, and I'm going to connect back as you can see me doing. So after doing that, I'm going to replace this dart that I just took, which is 1 inch, half an inch on both sides. So on the down part, I'm going to go out by 1 inch, and I'll extend that dart leg out like this. So the next thing you do is to figure out how deep you want the neck depth to be. So on the under bust line, I went up by 1 inch, and I'll be coming inward by another 1 inch. So it depends on what you want. If you check the thumbnail, you see that this part of the center front is not straight, so you can curve it just like you see me doing, or you can straighten it out. It depends on what you want. So what I'll do is to slant now from the 1 inch that I came inward with to the neck width of 3.5 inches. So you can also make the neckline into a curve. It must not be a slant like this. So on the waistline, I placed my waist circumference divided by 4, and I replaced the darts. After doing that, I'm going to curve out the new armhole, that is the extension that I went out with by 1 inch. I connected it back into the armhole, and then from there I connected to the waistline. The next thing I'll do is to connect the basque waistline. To do that, I folded my pattern paper so the that is sitting together. So after doing that, now I'm going to use my roller to connect, as you can see me doing. So make sure you close your dart first before you connect the basque waistline, because we'll be cutting out. Okay, so once you cut out, when you are joining your fabric together, everything is going to align. So what I'll do is to connect from this part all the way to the under bust line. As you can see, on this other end, I'm going to come in by 1 inch. That's on the armhole area. I'll come in by 1 inch, and I'll place my ruler on the 1 inch and connect. So I'm supposed to place my ruler from where my 1 inch started from, because I've not added allowance yet. I'm going to do that soon. So the next thing you do is to mark out the wideness of the rope on the neckline area. For me, I came in by 2.5 inches. So from that 2.5 inches, I connected back into the dart on the armhole area. So I decided to add 1 inch for my joining allowance on the side, as you can see. So what I'll do is to connect it back like this. So now I'll be connecting the other cup from the previous 1 inch that I came in with. Okay, so I'm going to connect like this. I hope you guys are not confused because of all the lines that I have on this part of the cup. So maybe you should add your allowance first before you draft out the cup on this side. So the line I'll be making use of is the new line that I just came in with. So I'm going to connect on the waist area like this. Okay, so next thing I'll do now is to connect from the 2.5 inches that I came inward with into this point like this. So this is how wide I want the rope to be. Okay, so go ahead and figure that out. If you want it wider, you can do that. So I decided to add extra pattern paper in order to extend the rope. Now it's going to be a cut together rope. Okay, so I'm extending it out. You can make it as long as you want it to be and as wide as you want it to be. So I'm going to extend this other part out. That's why I came in by 2.5 inches. So this is the wideness of my rope. Okay, I extended my rope by about 12 inches. So after doing that, now this is what I have. The next thing I'll do now is to take my bust dart. So to do that, I'm going to go down by 1 inch, which is the difference between my waist point in front and my waist point at the back. So I came down by 1 inch. I'm going to connect it to the dart leg like this. So after taking the bust dart, I'm going to go ahead and cut. So please pay close attention so you know where to cut. On this side of the dart leg, I'm cutting out a little because I want to cover it up with the center front. So I'll first of all fold in my dart. While cutting out the side, I left about 1 inch on this side, so that when I fold in my dart, I'm going to adjust if the line is not sitting together. So I went ahead to fold the dart. So if you notice that your line is not straight, go ahead and straighten it out, then you cut out the excess fabric. So make sure you leave about 1 inch on this side. Okay, so after folding in the dart, this is what I have. So I'll cut out the cup area. Okay, so for this dart area, I left about half an inch there because I want to cover the front and the back like this. So this is optional. You don't have to cover the dart up. Okay, you can join it together and then fix your boning to that part. Okay, and if you want to join it, you can join it and still fix your boning to anywhere you want to fix it. So I'll cover it up like this. So this is what I have for the center and the side front. Okay, and this is what I have on the cup area. So that is all for the drafting of the front part of this dress. All you have to do now is to fold your fabric into two, and then you are going to cut everything out and stitch them back together. So for the back, I've gone ahead to also draft out my pattern. Okay, so I have the chest line, the bust point, and the waistline, so we don't need the under bust line for the back. I also took out my shoulder measurement, and I went down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. I slanted it back into the neckline area. I went down by 7 inches for my armhole depth, and I took my the same 8 inches that I have on the chest line. I took it on that point and I connected into a straight line. So the next thing I'll do now is to take my bust circumference divided by 4 on the chest line, and I'll add 1 inch for my stitching allowance. On the waistline, I'll place my waist circumference divided by 4, and I'll add 1 inch for my stitching allowance. After doing that, I'm going to connect like this. So the next thing I'll do is to place my tape on the armhole area, and I'll divide what I have into two, which is 3.5 inches. After marking the center, I'm going to use my roller to connect from the 3.5 inches to the dots that I have on the chest line. The next thing is to figure out how deep you want your back neckline to be. From the chest line, I just went down by 1/2 inch and I connected like this. You can take it down, you can take it up, depending on how open you want the back to be. So I'll be taking out 1.5 inches for the loop. You know, the dress has a loop at the back, so I'll be cutting at 1.5 inches. So it depends on how open you want it to be. The dress also has a modesty panel, so you're going to be cutting another fabric to cover it up. So after doing that, I went ahead to cut. So this is what I have for the back, and these are the front pieces. So go ahead, place them on your fabric and cut. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next